Well, welcome back. I am here with someone who works here in the studio, Dave DeSantis, and he does all kinds of things here. He's in the back directing sometimes, he does editing, all kinds of things. But together, we are going to do a cooking segment coming up in April. It's about sous vide, and we're going to explain what that is, but it's become very popular, and it's a technique that here living in the village would be a great benefit. So although I have big smokers in homes and grills and barbecues, I yet to have a sous vide, but Dave does. So
I do. My whole family actually. My brother-in-law was the first one to get one, and then my brother, my dad, and I was the last DeSantis to finally get one.
Yeah.
And it's great, man. I use it a couple times a week at least, and it's a healthier alternative to grilling, or grilling's healthy, but you know, cooking in a pan with butter and oil and whatnot. Like this is a very a preferred method of cooking that's actually been in commercial kitchens for years.
It has been. And first let me explain that sous vide means under vacuum. And the term goes back many, 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 many years. And you've all seen it in a sense, because if you walk into a grocery store or a deli or something like that, and you see those vacuum-packed meats that are in there, the roast beefs and the turkey and things like that, that is all sous vide. And when I used to work in a restaurant, a lot of times we would get things in that way. And technically what's happening is that they'll put the raw product inside this vacuum packaging, and then they will put it in a water bath that's held at a precise temperature, cook it up to that temperature, whatever it may be. And you mentioned commercial restaurants where, believe it or not, a lot of steakhouses do this. They'll hold a steak at a certain temperature.
That's why it's always perfect.
Yeah, it can be held, I mean, we've got a picture on the screen here. For instance, a filet mignon, they may hold that in a water bath for hours and hours at 115, 120. It will never get hotter than the water. Then when somebody orders that filet,
it's almost impossible to overcook.
Yeah, they'll take it out of the packaging and sear it off, and there you have it.
Well, I did 20-hour baby back ribs a couple weeks ago, and like I thought, 20 hours, like it's going to be tough. It's going to be raw. I think you thought the same thing because you grill quite a bit. And I came to you first for advice before I jumped into the world of ribs, because that's kind of your specialty. And they turned out great. They were, tender, and that fall off the bone kind of texture and everything was, it's really, really good. And the nice thing about it too is that you can do vegetables. You don't have to just do meat.
I know. You can do. You were telling me scrambled eggs. You can do all kinds of things.
You can do eggs. You can even put like oatmeal and fruit and whatnot like together the night before, and just leave it cooking overnight. When you wake up, you have breakfast ready.
Yeah,
and it's safe too. It's not like leaving a stove on.
Right, and we got it. It's a little hard to see, but I have a picture of it on my iPad. Now, of course, restaurants have these big commercial vats that they use. But now, over the past 2 or 3 years or so, these companies come out and they've created these devices that are about the size of a flashlight. That's the best way to describe it. In fact, the one here, that's, what's the name of this one?
The Innova?
The Innova. Actually, somebody referred to it, it looks like a lightsaber from Star Wars.
It does, yeah.
And they fit into a vat of water. It can be a stock pot, it can be a clear plastic, it doesn't matter. You plug it in, you set the temperature, and it begins to circulate the water at a precise temperature. And once that water hits that temperature, then you seal your food. You can, if you have a vacuum sealer, or you can just use the zip method, with the the Ziploc bags.
You kind of lightly put the bag with your
and we're going to show you this
in.
when we end up doing this.
Yeah, we'll have the whole thing laid out, but you season your meat, and then you put it in the bag in the bath. And my favorite thing that I've done has been chicken, because chicken is hard to cook without drying it out.
It is,
and because you're cooking it in its own juices and seasonings and everything, you don't lose any flavor, you don't lose any tenderness. It's hands down the best chicken I've ever had.
And the thing is, you have to remember on this, you're not getting that nice browning caramelization Maillard reaction effect on this. So quite often what one will do is take it out of the bag and then quickly sear it off to get that nice crust on there. Of course, for chicken, you could take it right out of there, let it cool down. You got your chicken for chicken salad or chicken soup. You never have to worry about it.
I almost always sear it though.
Yeah, of course, but we like that flavor.
Yeah, you like that little char. It's even better on the grill if you just throw it on, you know, a minute on each side, if that.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when I did the ribs, you know, you cook it for 20 hours in there, but you finish it on the grill for about 10 minutes and gives it a nice smoky flavor. Brisket is another thing that I'm going to try in a couple of weeks. And I was reading that you can sous vide it for 3 or 4 hours, and then, or maybe longer, and then you can put it on the smoker for like 3 hours.
Exactly.
So, and that's your world.
Yeah,
that's what you know.
And you know, you can't. I know in the village here, you can't really have a smoker, so this is a good way to cook food low and slow. Now, there's actually formulas in this, and Dave and I have talked about this before. We know that, let's say, chicken breasts, to make it safe, you have to cook it to what the FDA says, 160 degrees.
Right.
Well, that's 160 degrees for about 15 seconds, and it will kill all the bacteria. However, there's formulas out there where you could cook that chicken breast to 140 degrees. It might have to be held at that temperature for whatever length of time it is. I forget what it is, but there are formulas out there. So let's say it's a half hour. It'll do the same thing. It'll kill all that bacteria. It'll take that time to do it. But the nice thing is, when you sous vide something like that, that chicken is going to come out so much more moist at that lower temperature, but safely because it's been held at that temperature for many hours. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't undercook chicken. That's deadly.
No.
I took a cooking class in high school, and that was the first thing that they told us. I mean, you can get deathly ill.
Yeah, and we're going to give you a couple websites that if you ever get one of these that have those formulas on there.
Right.
So you'll know all about that. So we're going to do this. We're going to kind of figure out a time and get all our stuff together and all that. But sometime in April. So we're kind of previewing it here. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to it.
All right, very good. Good to see you, Dave.
As always.
And again, Dave, he's Manchester by the Sea, right? You love that movie.
It's great.
So it's coming up on Friday. We'll tell you more about that in just a bit. All right, Dave, thanks a lot. He's going to go back behind the scenes here, and we're going to bring you a couple segments coming up. We'll be right back.